Welcome back to another round of Fatal Frame Facts. This time we're looking at some of the male characters who help make up our beloved series. And where else could we start but with the series' first playable character, Hinasaki Mafuyu. So let's head right on in. 1. Mafuyu's age is a little confusing. The official site tells us that during the first game he is 23 years old, meaning he would have been born in 1963. However, the perfect guide tells us that he's 21, meaning he would have been born in 1965. Now, we know that Mafuyu also graduated university by the time of the first game, so 21 seems incredibly unlikely. As such, the most likely answer is that he was indeed born in 1963, making him 23 when he visits the Himuro mansion. 2. Being that he's Miku's older brother, he of course shares the same last name as her, Hinasaki. These kanji use the characters for chick, as in little bird, and bloom, although saki using a different kanji can also mean to tear apart, as in what the ropes in this game do. It was obviously more geared towards Miku's character, but considering both siblings share in the rope curse theme in promo images and in their designs, it's still somewhat fitting for Mafuyu as well. 3. Mafuyu's first name means midwinter. This ties into his theme color, which is white. He's also described by the devs as being fair-skinned, and he dresses in black and white as well. In fact, when we're first introduced to him, his section is also entirely in black and white, signifying that the events are happening in Miku's past, even though we're the ones controlling him. And as Shibata tells us on the official website, he wanted Mafuyu's theme color to be white so he would stand out in contrast to the darkness of the Himuro mansion. And, interestingly, Fatal Frame 1 was released unseasonably in winter in Japan as well. 4. At the time of the first game, Mafuyu had already graduated university and was working for a publisher. The official website again tells us he visits a village near the mansion on his first assignment for an out-of-season horror feature. As we later discover, he was also a part of the editing department, where he met Amakura Kei. 5. It's unclear when Mafuyu and Takamine Junsei first met, but it was long ago enough that Mafuyu's mother was still alive at the time. The perfect guide tells us that after Mafuyu and Miku's mother died, Takamine helped Mafuyu on both a personal and professional level. He also presumably worked with him doing research while in university, and then later when Takamine started doing his research on the Himuro mansion as well. 6. Mafuyu is one of the rare men in the series who is noted as having a strong sixth sense. This goes for both him and Miku, presumably something they gained from their mother, and their family's long history with Dr. Aso's final, and arguably most effective camera obscura. Miku notes several times, Mafuyu is the only one she can talk to about the things she can see, because he can see them too. 7. Mafuyu's character design was done by Hasegawa Jin, who also designed Miku. Hasegawa also worked on the second game before moving on, and interestingly for me, and perhaps viewers of this channel, he later went on to become the director of the Root Letter visual novel as well. That one set in my hometown of Matsue. 8. Mafuyu is voiced by Kanemaru Junichi, who you may also know as the Japanese voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, of all things. He's been working since 1985, so chances are you've seen plenty of other things he's done over the years. In English, he was voiced by Dominic Allen, who has also appeared in a variety of other video games over the years, including Silent Hill 2, Virtua Fighter, and Time Crisis. 9. On September 24th, 1986, Mafuyu arrives at the Himuro mansion looking for Takamine, who nobody has heard from in weeks. He takes with him his mother's camera obscura, not knowing at the time that this particular camera was actually completed right there in that very same mansion. In fact, he has no knowledge whatsoever that his very own grandmother used to live there as a child. Yet, anyway. 10. And on that note, while not a descendant of the Aso bloodline, Mafuyu is a member of one of the other important families in the series, the Kurosawa family. His great-grandmother is Kurosawa Yae, one of the twins from the second game, meaning at least one part of his family comes from the famously lost Minakami village. His great-grandfather, Ryozo, was also acquainted with Dr. Aso in his youth, as he was a good friend of Ryozo's mentor, Makabe Seijiro. 11. While at the Himuro mansion, Mafuyu discovers something odd. The ghosts are, in his own words, trying to pull me into the past. The spirits make parts of the mansion revert to the way they were in the past. This is a rather interesting case in the series, as it's not just characters being sucked into the other side, but it's literally playing with time as well. And this isn't just metaphorical. In another diary entry, Mafuyu says, "Dear Miku, I know it's weird, but I see you sometimes here in the mansion. I run after you, but I always end up losing sight of you. There must be some kind of warp in time here now." The malice in the mansion is so powerful that it can literally shift time. 12. In the end, it's actually Mafuyu who also figures out how to stop Kirie. Thanks to his guided tour through the mansion, and all of the things he has seen, including Kirie's own past, he figures out what's going on, and leaves a note instructing Miku on how to fix things. It's through him that Miku discovers that Kirie has been split in two, and that even now, she still wants to fulfill her duty as the Rope Shrine Maiden, but she's tainted by the malice. He also informs Miku exactly how to do it. Take the Holy Mirror to the Hell Gate. 13. Mafuyu is also the one who figures out his and Miku's connection to the mansion. In his final note, he puts the pieces together and informs Miku of all the strange coincidences, like notes about a girl named Mikoto he found in the mansion, the same name their grandmother had, and this Mikoto's mother dying in the exact same way that their own mother did. And all this appears to be connected to the camera they have, which was likely the camera their grandmother brought with her after being adopted by the Hinasaki family. He's a clever boy, that Mafuyu. 14. On October 6, 1986, Miku finally makes her way to the Hell Gate, and there, she watches as Kirie basically absorbs Mafuyu into herself. But once she's defeated and the Holy Mirror is made complete, the pair are separated again. However, thanks to all he has seen throughout his time in the mansion, Mafuyu, being the gentle spirit he is, decides to stay with Kirie so she's not alone while she fulfills her duty to keep the Hell Gate closed. Yeah, he chooses a spirit he basically just met over his own sister. Harsh. 15. There are two other endings, however. The Mafuyu ending sees the Hinasaki siblings leaving the mansion together, apparently cured of their ability to see ghosts as well. And in the photograph ending, which was added exclusively for Xbox, it also sees both Miku and Mafuyu leave the mansion together. But this time, Kirie's lover reappears and joins her, so she's not left alone. 16. This is not the last we see of Mafuyu, however. He also makes a brief appearance in Fatal Frame 3. You can find a photo of him on Miku's desk in her room, and he also appears in the Manor of Sleep in Miku's dreams. It's this meeting that ends up giving us yet another member of the Hinasaki family, but more on that later. 17. And this still isn't the last we see of him, as Mafuyu also appears briefly in Fatal Frame 5 as well. Here we get our best look at what a modern remake Mafuyu would look like, as he takes part in a ghost marriage ritual with Miku. Ultimately, Miku was never really able to move on after Mafuyu chose to sacrifice himself in the Himuro mansion. And knowing that her time was also about to come, she decided to use her final living strength to perhaps give some strength to Mafuyu as well on the other side. 18. And of course, it's in Fatal Frame 5 that we find out Mafuyu has a daughter, Miyu, one of the main playable characters, who was conceived when Miku and Mafuyu met in the Manor of Sleep. 19. It should be noted that initially, Miyu wasn't designed to be Mafuyu's daughter. Shibata's original plan was for Miku and Kei to be the parents, and being the child of two important and powerful families in the series, this would have made her quite powerful herself. But as the ghost marriage ritual became more and more important throughout the storyline, Shibata felt that only one person actually made sense for Miku, and that was Mafuyu, who basically sacrificed himself in the same way. Miku's decision to marry Mafuyu, Shibata recalled, was her attempt at freeing him from the mansion by summoning his spirit out for marriage. 20. Mafuyu also appears in the Patchy Slot Zero slot machine that debuted in 2021, featuring a sort of condensed, almost remade version of the first game. There's also an extra ending where Mafuyu again chooses to stay with Kirie, but an extra scene is added where Kurosawa Koto, a character created for the game, remarks on how she now understands how Miku let Mafuyu go, despite being sad, because she loved that gentle part of his nature that made him sympathize with Kirie in the first place. She also ties this into 3, however, by noting that even now, Miku must no doubt still be conflicted by that choice. 21. And finally, Mafuyu is also credited as the author of the Zero novel, a book that came out in 2002. Rather than being a straight-up retelling of the game, this is an original story that features Mafuyu as a journalist who is asked to make a novel of a new game called Zero, but soon discovers that a character in the game has the same name as him. It then takes a meta turn as the lines between reality and the game blur and nobody is quite sure which is real anymore. The entire idea for this novel came from Shibata playtesting the game and noticing that Mafuyu was running around and raising his camera, even though no one was holding a controller. This continued until the controller was unplugged, and they were unable to replicate the situation, so the programmers doubted it was an actual bug within the game. Still, the strange sight captivated Shibata so much that he couldn't get it out of his mind, and eventually, he shared this idea with the author of the upcoming novel. And so, a story was born. And that is 21 facts about Hinasaki Mafuyu, the first ever playable character from the Fatal Frame series. But what did you guys think of this one? Are there any other characters or games you'd like me to explore? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.